Hi there. How's everybody doing? It's so hard for me to know when it's actually, you know, are we rolling? I don't know. Oh, maybe now I think we are rolling. It looks like it. I'm kind of getting used to this. Um, how's everybody doing out there today? It is August 4th, I believe, 2020, the craziest year of my life so far. Well, last couple of years have been kind of crazy in my life. Anyway, welcome aboard. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, Brittany, how are you, honey? I caught you on a live the other day for a minute. I had to run, but it was nice to see your face, hear your voice. Um, my name is Crispina French, and I am a creative textile recycling entrepreneur, artist, activist, influencer. That sounds pretty professional. It has to roll off the tongue a little better. I'm going to keep practicing. So this is day number 23, I believe, in a 30-day series all about creative textile recycling and why that's important, how you can build it right into your life, and how it's actually super fun. And it feels really good to be kind of part of the solution of the environmental crisis and trying to just like do our part to be responsible in our life habits. So it actually encompasses a lot more than just clothing and recycling clothing. I actually wind up it kind of spills out into all aspects of my life. So, like my husband and I made a mad dash to the grocery store this morning before I had to be with you guys, and you know, they're allowing us to use our recycled bags again, which is pretty awesome. And for a while there, it was all just, they could, just because of COVID, they weren't sure how that was transmitting and they were really not comfortable using other people's bags, which I get. But that's a good thing. They're back to that. And then also for Christmas, a dear friend of mine gave me some kind of really lightweight mesh bags that we use for produce. So rather than using those plastic bags that come off the roll, um, we use the fabric ones that are reusable and washable. And the thing I have to just let you guys know is I feel like in order for the bags that are reusable to kind of become carbon neutral, if you will, you have to use them a lot. So like take really good care of your bags. I machine wash and dry mine. I have some nice canvas ones that we printed on with the Dolphin Studio, which was super fun. And get good quality ones, just like we've been talking about the last couple of weeks on the session. Um, but if you can, and if you're in a pinch or you or your grocery store's not allowing um, reusable bags, what I was doing was just loading my groceries back into the grocery cart in the store, and then when I got to the car, I would bag them up in my reusable bags. I use mason jars for bulk purchases. Like there's usually a scale where I grocery shop. There's a scale, and you can kind of write the tare weight on the cover of a mason jar, and then instead of using the plastic bags to fill with rice or beans or whatever dry goods, nuts, whatever you're purchasing there, you can use those jars. And they actually sell these things called food funnels, if anybody's familiar. They're like a funnel that fits right into the top of a mason jar, but instead of having a small narrow spout for a liquid, they're like a big spout. So like granola and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't spill all over the place. It kind of catches it. So today we're going to talk more about kitchens and food and how we can be kind of mindful and just really give it a little bit more thought. Mason jars are a great way to start the conversation. From the pin cushions that I make, these are mason, well, I say mason jar, it's like Band-Aid. This one's actually made by a company called Kerr, Kerr. Ball jars, mason jars, Kerr jars. There's another brand, Kilner jars. Those are over in Ireland where I was staying. And it's so funny here in the United States, these jars are very inexpensive. You can buy like, I use the pint size ones, and then there's a size larger than a pint that's like a 24 ounce or something like that. It's a really nice size for drinking in the summer. And those are, a couple bucks, and they come with a cover. So right now it's hard to find canning supplies. I just went out this morning when I was at the grocery store. They didn't have the covers I was looking for, so I'll keep an eye out for those. But yesterday we got started making pot holders, and it was just a quick little tutorial on how you can make a cool little pot holder for. I do a lot of canning this time of year, so it's hot, and having a nice pot holder to keep your hands from getting too hot is a really nice idea. Um, and one of the things that I also have been talking about a little bit lately is how to make the things that you have in your life, the tools that are going to be in your life for a period of time, make them beautiful, make them, like we talked about pin cushions the other day, about how I have my grandmother's pin cushion, and like it's not wearing out. It's perfectly useful, and it was my grandmother. So, and it's all like hand embroidered and just beautiful. So, this pot holder is hand sewn. There's 3 layers of fabric in there, and I'm going to go back into this and probably quilt it a little bit. Maybe I'll follow these stripes, or maybe I'll follow this kind of ikat pattern on the other side, and just emblazon it with even more thought and care, and just make it super special. And it'll remind me of the series that I'm doing with you guys every time I use it. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a little bit extra, and it's kind of nice to spend that time making something that you can then look back at and just appreciate. So every little thing that you can bring into your life that brings you joy or makes you smile, whether it's even just an inside smile to yourself, um, is a really good thing to especially be mindful of bringing into your life in these days of kind of global angst and unknown, right? Like everything that even if it's just if it's a pot holder, you guys, like if it brings you a like, wow, that was such a fun series I did with all about the textile recycling techniques, and we did that little tutorial, and how cool, right? Like I have a pot holder. I used to make pot holders for Christmas gifts, and I put the year on them every year, and I would keep one myself, although I only have one, and I made them for a few years in a row, but the one I made is from 2005. So it's in pretty good working order. It's a little grungy, but that's okay. It just reminds me of those pot holders that I made and all the people that I gifted them to. So I'm just going to step over here for 1 second and talk to you about other kinds of kitchen things that you can use that are that will cut down on our human footprint on the planet, and those are napkins. So first, I have to preface this whole conversation by saying that my husband is a plumber, and he's a tree guy. He's kind of like a serial, kind of hardworking guy, and right now his main focus is tree work because he loves to be outdoors and he loves to be up in the trees. But he gets really dirty, and he's kind of he's very large. He's 6'4". We call him Biggie. That's his nickname. And he, comes tramping in the house with his size 15s, and there's just like a trail of mud behind him. And I used to be like, honey, can you take your shoes off? I can do it. But then I just gave up because it's just not worth it. The dogs are in and out. He's in and out. It takes his shoes off. It takes too long. So I just roll, and I sweep, and I vacuum, and I get my kids to do that too. And so a lot of our stuff, the things that we use for like our everyday living, are a little on the grungy side, I was noticing. So we use kitchen towels rather than like paper towels. We use like a dish towel. But because we use them for everything, like, wiping off the counter to, you know, wiping up something on the floor that's spilled, we have kind of rotation. So we have like rags that we call, that are like after they've been, when they get super grungy, they're rags, and they get used for the floor. They get used for like dog stuff. If that winds up going into the trash can, not a big deal. Before they get there, we have the nice kitchen towels that get used for dishes and dish surfaces only. And then we have this kind of mediocre place where, like, if you're, cleaning the sink or whatever, they're not really used for dishes or for food stuff. And we kind of try to rotate them through. And I'm like the queen of the laundry because I love to fold laundry. So I make sure that I've got my 3 storage bins separated that way, and make sure that they're all kind of in the right rotation, because it could get kind of gross if you're not careful. So the other thing that we do is we use cloth napkins on our kitchen table, and we don't buy any paper napkins or paper towels. And I have paper towels at my studio because I feel like it's really important for people to have very clean hands, and we're really doing our best to keep COVID at bay. So paper towels are, we hand sanitize, we use paper towels. But at home we use cloth napkins. And the other day I was showing you guys some beautiful linens that I got from my girlfriend out in Missouri, and this is one of them. This is a couple napkins that she gave me, and those went right into my napkin drawer at my house. But honestly, there are some other napkins, and I just brought in a bunch of them to show you. This came from my, is that upside down? Yeah, I'm sorry, the camera's always backwards, so it's hard to remember. Um, this size is the best size, in my opinion, and this napkin actually came from my parents' um, stash when they passed away. There was like, I don't know, a dozen of these napkins, and they just wear really well, and they're super easy to make. So like if you have men's dress shirts that are that nice crisp cotton, make really nice napkins. And this one, I'm going to hold it up really close. This is a serged edge here. So if you have a serger, you can just pack your stitches really close together and make them as narrow as possible, and you'll get this kind of rolled edge. So super fun and easy to make. And when you make them out of used clothing, it's kind of fun to have them all be kind of mismatched. The thing that I think is important is sizing. And I put my my measuring device in the other room, but I'm going to say I think this is a 16-inch square. I think that's a 16-inch square. I'm willing to bet. This one is around about the same size. This one's got the hemmed edge, so if you don't have a serger and you want to just roll the edges, it's a lot of work, but kind of like that pot holder. You make yourself a dozen napkins, and then all of a sudden you can really stop using all of those disposable wrapped in plastic paper things, and you have a nice memory to, in addition to the usefulness of the napkin. Okay, so here we go with the grungy. Do you see this one? This is a little on the grungy side, but this is a beautiful linen napkin that also came from my parents' stash, and it's a little smaller. I think it's a little bit more, it's nice for a lunchbox, so this is probably more like a 14-inch square. And this has like a really pretty woven edge to it, so I'm sure this fabric was woven with the end use in mind. So that is, oh, and then there's another small napkin here that this has, and this is a great way to get started. So this is another kind of lunchbox size, this one might even be a little smaller, maybe it's 12 inches square. And this one's also a little beat up, you can see the hole in the edge. But it's just fringed. So someone just cut a piece of fabric, could be out of a shirt, could be a piece of fabric you have in your fabric stash, and then just pulled the end so that you got like this kind of frayed edge, which is sort of like, if you have cut off blue jean shorts, it's the same thing that happens. So you could probably just cut it and then throw it in the washing machine and dryer, and it would fray by itself. You wouldn't have to spend a lot of time picking it. And then you can just trim off the kind of unsightly frayed edges and get that nice kind of even finish. So I encourage you to go into the rest of your day and week and even future, and just think about ways that you can pretty easily save money and save resources by using things that you might not have thought of using that are recycled and reusable, and stop feeling like you need to use things that are disposable. And also, actually, while we're talking about kitchen stuff, and I'm sorry, I was running around a little bit this morning, so I didn't, let me just see, I might have one right here. Is this what I'm looking for? This is kind of a cool thing, though. This is one of the kitchen towels that we printed for the Dolphin Studio. This is kind of rumpled up. It was on my seat there. But it's a nice, they're a nice cotton weight, and we put little hooks on the corners so you can hang them in your kitchen. So you can find those in the Dolphin Studio shop. There's a bunch of different ones, and I'm not actually sure what we have listed right now. I would love to know if you have any questions about ways to use reusable fabrics in your kitchen. If you have any ideas, suggestions, comments, pop them up in the comment feed. I see Brittany, and I'm really glad you're with me, girl. But I don't see any other comments today, which means to me that either you don't have any questions and you're good, or maybe you're not hearing me. I hope you are, because sometimes my connectivity is a little shaky. Um, but anyways, the other thing I was going to show you is I made these little things last year. And of course, I've had one on my little video table for the last 3 weeks, and yesterday I cleaned up and put it away somewhere. Anyway, it's like a napkin that rolls silverware into it. The silverware has little slots. You stick the silverware in there, you fold it over and roll it up, and it becomes like this. I call them wherever you go, like silver wherever you go. And that way you can really avoid using plastic utensils. And I know it's kind of funny, right? Like this whole COVID thing has really changed our culture so much. Um, it's like we don't have to worry about using so much plastic silverware for the most part, because I don't know, most of us aren't eating away from home as much as we had prior. Oh, and Blair Weaver, how are you, girl? It's so nice you're here. And flannel is a great paper towel replacement. So, you know, if you can use flannel from the fabric store, or you can also use flannel from the thrift store if you want to go with the recycled route. And flannel is just, it's like such a nice fabric to, you can use it for so many different things. Paper towel is one really nice use for it, or paper towel replacement. Anyhow, those things, the wherever you go little pouches, I had initially thought of marketing to. We live in an area where there's a ton of like cultural centers. So in Beckett we have Jacob's Pillow Dance Festival. We have Tanglewood, which is nearby in Lenox. We have Kripalu. We have just Berkshire Theater Group. We have Shakespeare and Company. We have all these different cultural organizations that all have food service and outdoor dining, and they all use plastic. And we live in this beautiful, pristine, like pretty rural and wild part of Massachusetts. And I'm like, you guys, come on, like let's just do a little bit better than that. So my idea was to make these little kits for silverware to wrapped in a napkin that could be screen printed with that organization's emblem and logo and whatever information they like, and then they can sell those and have it be like a souvenir and also a way to cut back on their plastic. So maybe next year, and I'm hoping. So I hope that if you guys if you come up with any ideas or questions, post them up in the comments. And then the other thing that I'm asking people to do is tag people who you think might be interested in catching the tail end of this 30-day series. We have just a little less than a week left. I will actually, it's a week from today, I believe. It is a week from today. August 11th is the last day in this 30-day series all about creative textile recycling. I love to share ideas and knowledge and get feedback, and also learn more about what you guys know, because you guys are a wealth of knowledge, if you hadn't noticed. So thanks for being with me today. I hope you have a really great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning, live at 11 in Eastern time. So have a great day.